going to explain about how to decide which Sitecore implementation we have to choose while you are having any RFP or you are coming to any project requirement. So in this session, I am going to explain that. So the agenda of the today's meeting is the introduction, requirement, scope of work, solution approach, and at the end we will have Q&A. So if you have any doubt or in the meantime also if I am explaining anything, you can stop me anytime and you can ask for a questions. And this is a brief introduction about myself. Myself, Amit, and I am having around 6 years of experience. And I am a two-time site for YouTube. And I am mostly worked on the Microsoft technologies, including I have other than Microsoft, I have worked on the Salesforce also. And these are my social channels where we can connect with each other. If you have any queries, you can get in touch with me. So the introduction. So in this session, I will be explaining about if you are received any project requirement or you are starting with any greenfield project, right? So in those scenario, how you will decide that which particular technology or which particular site code implementation you have to choose. And suppose if you have chosen anything, for example, if you have chosen XXA for your implementation, then how you will start with your XXA implementation because XXA is providing you around the 70 plus components. So before starting to your project, you need to decide that it will be best fit for you to start with XXA or not. So I will be explaining with the help of one of the requirement to you. So now moving to the requirement. So we will be working with the different clients, right, in our day-to-day scenario. And in most of the cases, client will be coming with a very less set of requirement, and they wanted each and everything. So what will happen that if you will not try to accommodate all the requirement in your discovery phase, then at the end you need to do the loss of the reserve. So in those scenario, for example, in for this session, I have tried to bring up a three project requirements, right? So I will be giving a snapshot of those requirements. So for example, for the project one requirement, if you need to build the insurance website, right? And in that also you need to support a multi-site, multilingual feature of the site, and you need to make it as interactive so that user can access the application with a less number of clicks. It needs to be responsive, and also the IAM system needs to be integrated for the external user with the third-party IAM system, maybe Okta or anything. And there will be a list of the category and the product will be there in any of the insurance portal, right? You will be having a health insurance, life insurance like that. So it will be having a category listing, product listing, and it should be have a search with filter and the facets so that end user can identify a particular type of insurance product very easily. And there will be a feature category or product needs to be there, and there will be a integration with backend system because if you are building an insurance portal, so they will be having their own backend system or the legacy system. So generally, it will be a CRM system which will generate the code you need to display to the user at a runtime, and the stock system will be generally for the workflow related. Business workflow will be created in the BizTalk system. So that interaction will be also present in this website. And recommended insurance plan. Suppose if you have already buy any feature or anything from the uh, this particular website, so next time you are coming, so on the basis of that, you need to display a recommended insurance plan. So generally, if you are building any insurance portal, it needs to be dynamic, and site-core personalization will be on the basis of the static content. So generally, these recommendation needs to be come from a CRM system or any other backend system they are having. And for any insurance portal or any such site, you generally saw that there will be a multi-skin forms are there where you will be having a more than 40 fields will be there. So like that, you will be having a many forms, and there will be a separate mobile apps needs to be created for this particular project, and user segmentation needs to be there because you need to use the marketing automation plan or any sort of digital marketing capabilities of the site core. So client is looking for a user segmentation also, and they wanted to manage the content from a centralized location. And the other is a related category or the product that also needs to be displayed. So this is the one of the project requirement. So now I will move to the second project requirement. That is a company catalog website. Suppose company is selling their product via a link to any third party website. There is no e-commerce integration in this, and it is also needs to support a multi-site, multilingual, and it should be interactive and responsive. And feature product needs to be visible to the user, and there will be a picture gallery will be there for a products. If you will go to the product details page, and search will be also there here also to find a particular required product, and there will be press releases or the blogs or the articles should be present in this website, and also here also the integration with the third party system will be present, and generally contact us page is there you should have a map type of things so that user can find a location from their current location how far it is, and recommended or related product functionality also needs to be built here, and there will be no requirement of a mobile app. It will just serve the desktop application with the responsive web UI. User segmentation also there, centralized content management, and a country specific website also configured. Now, why I am explaining this? Because I am giving the overview because generally when you will receive any type of requirement, so these are the main requirements are coming present in each and every application. These are the general requirements. So the third one is there will be a airline portal. You can say any Indigo or SpiceJet or any website, and it should support a multi-site, multilingual, interactive responsive. These are the common things every project is you are building. It's required, and third-party user management because they will be having their own user management system because they are booking the ticket from a many locations or a physical system also. So there should be a data lake type of things will be present so that they will capture all the data from different sources and put into a one location like a data lake, and from there the user management system will work, and the flight reservation form will be present. Such will be there to find any type of flight like by selecting a date, time, and a non-stop like that. Press releases and blogs things will be present. Offers and about us pages will be there. Contact us will be there. And services listing what type of services is offering by this particular airline and their details. And that will support a PW and the SMP. This progressive web app and the single page application is a requirement. User segmentation is there to showcase any type of offer, centralized content management system, and a travel help review. So I have also created some sort of tool. So I would like to take in your response so that it will give a idea that what you guys are thinking to build this type of particular applications which will be able to build in the instead of it needs to be built in the XXA or it needs to be built in the site code. Can you please take me some minutes to answer this people? All are provided by people. It's not mandatory, right? If you are done, then you can proceed.
Sorry to disturb. Can you please check your audio also? Because your voice is coming very low.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yes.
Thanks.
So I think most of the people have provided their input. So if you will see the, if I will see the first implementation, so people have mentioned it two as a ASP.NET MVC and the two as a GSS. If I will go to the third, it's definitely a XXA, and the third one is a 111. So as per my experience, if I will see that the project one requirement, what it is telling that it needs to be insurance website, which will be having a many downstream system, which needs to be built, and also a separate mobile app needs to be there, right? And in those cases, what generally we need to do, because it's a mobile application separately, right? So in those cases, the mobile app is specific to a Android or the Windows or the Google people are the client is telling. So in those cases, we cannot go with the Sitecode JSS because Sitecode JSS will run on the React or the React Native, and if client is looking for a particular mobile OS related, then in those cases, Sitecode JSS cannot be utilized. In those scenarios, we have to utilize the ASP.NET MVC web application. XXA will be not fit here because here we will be having a listing of the insurance. Those will be present here, but there are the many legacy system which needs to be built to create a form. So listing will be one part, and the other part is creation of the forms will be there, and integration with any third party system or many downstream systems are there. So in those scenarios, the ASP.NET MVC will be a best fit because we are not able to utilize many of the XXA component because user segmentation you can do it in in both the cases in every site for implementation, but all the related things, everything will be coming from a backend system because you have integrated their CRM system to fetch the data related to any code, and if you will buying it, you will be sending again data back to their backend system and or their data lake, and from there you will be getting a recommendation. So in those cases, you cannot display a static content to the user. So while coming to the project two requirement, it's a straightforward exception implementation because it's a catalog website. There is no e-commerce integration, nothing is there. Anyway, if the e-commerce integration is also there, then it's better to use the Sitecore Commerce altogether because it is built on top of the existing. And the third requirement is purely a GSS requirement, Sitecore headless implementation because PW and SPA is there. SPA you can build in the ASP.NET and VC also, but the PW I have not seen people are building in the ASP.NET and VC because PW will be a treated as a one type of app also. You can create a shortcut in your application in your mobile itself. It will be behave like a uh, mobile application. If you will check the Make My Trip PW application, they are also having Naukri.com also having their PW. So you will see that it will be work in both the desktop as well as in the mobile. In mobile, it will be treated as this. So these are the things you need to take care while you are building any application for this particular technology or a tech stack you need to build it. So all these things you need to take care because if in one of the recent requirement which I got engaged in one of the project, so they came that they will be having a MVP to build a desktop application, but in near future they need they are looking for a SPA also, but currently they have not decided. So we have a very long calls and a discussion because they need to buy a Sitecore GSS license itself. That is a subscription based, and they already paid a huge amount of a Sitecore licenses, so they are not willing to buy a GSS. So we have convinced that because if you will build today the desktop application, in near future you need to again do the rework building and converting that application to the SPA or the PW. So those things we need to take care. Any question till this point?
No questions from me.
Yeah, thanks. So in some of the cases, client is also providing you the wireframe itself, but generally the wireframe and those things will be coming into the picture when you are coming to the discovery phase. That will be a sprint zero of your application. So in those cases, it's better to ask any type of question, or you can create your own wireframe, and you can go back to the client and you can showcase that is your understanding. Some of the client is providing the wireframe itself. So here we are considering a home page wireframe and a product listing page we are going to consider to decide how we can utilize the XXA. So in those cases, if you see that the home page wireframe is having a logo placement, those are the navigation, search text box, social media link, sign in, sign out is there. And also you are seeing that there is a favorites link is there. And also some sort of carousel is there, and feature product, feature articles is there, and some promo content is there, and you in the bottom you are seeing the footer. Same way, if you will see the product listing page wireframe, the header part is same, that is the navigation part, and below that you are having a page banner, and then you are having a search product and user favorites and user purchase history if they have bought anything from your website via navigating into a third party system. In the bottom you will be having a same footer. So these are the requirements. So here we are considering the project 2 requirement. So for related to that, we are having these two work. So now coming to the scope of the work. So generally when while you are implementing any application or anything, so it's better to document what is the scope of yours, right? Otherwise, what will happen that when you will go to the GOT or anything, so many things is coming back to you. The client will ask that, no, I said this also, I said this also. So it's better to document all the things and take a sign and proceed further. So here our scope of work is that we will be seeing it which implementation we are considering, and identification of the component that we are doing to implement home page and product page, and we will be explaining what will be the Sitecore information architecture.
Amit,
Yeah.
sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, but your
Yeah.
voice is not clear. I don't know if it's audible.
Okay. Now it's fine. I think I was away from the mic. That's why. Sorry
Yeah,
for
it's
that.
fine now. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah,
So in those cases, we will be uh, deciding that what will be the scope of the work. So from our session, the scope of our work is a design, which implementation approach we are going to utilize it, identification of the component, Sitecore information architecture, and the use of the Helix principle while implementing the solution, how we are going to utilize it. So in this session, I will be covering those things. So the solution approach while building any XXA based application, you need to first identifying that you need to generally create the inventory. So it means that if you are having any wireframe, then you need to identify that what are the components you will be able to utilize from the out of the box. So if you are having a 70% component which can be utilized from the XXA, so in those cases, it's better to go with the XXA based approach. Otherwise, it's better to use the normal ASP.NET MVC, because every organization will be having their own accelerator because they have earlier worked on the many applications or the many projects. So all these common component like a header, footer, listing, they generally will be having. So in those cases, you can save the cost as well as you can save the cost of the XXL license itself. So now in those cases, first we will be identifying that what are the sections are present in the page. So in the home page, we are having a header section, content section, and the footer section. So these sections are very important because while you are going to implement a XXL based solution, so you will be creating a partial designs also, right? So in those scenario and also where you are going to place which component, so these things will be helpful in those scenarios. So now if coming to the home page component, so you will see that we are having a logo, navigation, search text box, navigation, sign in, sign out. So for that, we have identified that in the header sections, we are having a logo. So logo is a image itself only. And you can provide the link also. So that will be out of the box. Same way we have identified that we can utilize the main navigation and there is a social media navigation, and for that we can utilize the linked image component of the XXL, and search text box also having a out of the box component, and sign in sign out is also present in that. We can customize that or we can create our own, and there is a add as a favorites that will be a custom one, because in each page you here is the functionality the user can add as a favorites to any page. And there is a content section is there, the carousel is there, and the featured product is there, and the featured articles is there, and the promo content is there. This is the content section. So these all are the out of the box component. And the footer section is also a some sort of content only, like a logo, link list, paragraph, copyright, and those are the out of the box component. So with this type of analysis, we also always need to go to the each and every page of the application, and we need to document or we need to create an inventory list for the each and every component of each page to start with. So now coming to the product listing page, that is also having a header section, content section. In content section, you are having a user section also, where user will be storing their user favorites, user purchase history, and the search section and the footer section. So for this, if you will traverse, the add as a favorites will be custom because header section is same. If you will go to the content section, so the image is there, that is a header of that, that there you can utilize the page content. So if you will check that section, you will be having this type of template. So you can extend that template or you can create your own page template and you can introduce the image itself there. So by default, title and the page description is present in that. And favorite product listing is a custom base because user will, we have to store these things into some system. So that at any time of time, if user will logged in, they can check it. And the purchase history, because purchase is happening by connecting with any third party system. So we will be getting a API for that. So with that, we need to build a purchase history listing. Search text box is a normal one. So here we are going to create a search text box for a utilizing the Sitecore XXL search text box. Search results also will be displayed with the help of a Sitecore out of the box link in the pagination component of the Sitecore. And footer is similar to the home page because complete website generally will be having a same type of header and footer. So if you will see this 2 pages inventory, then you will be, so with the help of that, we can identify that. So most of the pages component, we will be able to utilize the more than 70% of the requirement. So in those cases, it's best fit to go with the XXL based implementation so that we can reduce the number of days in the implementation, and so that way we can select it. But for any third party integration or custom logic, we have to write our own custom component. So that is similar to normal ASP.NET MVC based implementation with the update of some sort of classes or the namespaces which will be different. So if client is having any future roadmap, right? As I explained earlier, they wanted to create a SPA or the PWA. So if your application is covering also more than 70% implementation of the XXA, but it's best to go with the headless approach. Otherwise, at the end, you can utilize the XXA layout service also to build the PWA application. But in those scenarios, altogether you need to build a complete website in any client-side framework from the scratch. So you will be wasting your client money also, as well as your development time also, by doing the revamp. So those scenario or those information you need to collect during the discovery phase of the application. Uh, any question till this point? I think silent, so no question. Fine. And one more thing here you need to take care. Suppose if you're having a multi-site sites you need to implement it. So you need to go through each and every of the website. You need to identify the what are the common component from the site code XXA you will be having. So you need to create a inventory list in that format. And while onboarding a particular site into your application, because if you are having a 10 website or a 5 website in XXA, so in those scenario, maybe one or two sites will be having a different sort of custom components. So you need to create that inventory first, and for onboarding, because first of all you need to build some sort of platform. You need to create you need to take as a one website as a base website, because you will utilize create some sort of PowerShell script to onboard a other website, right? So though in those cases, you need to build an inventory for each and every site. Here I have given the example of a only a two pages. The same way, every site will be having a more than 10 type of page templates. So for each website, you need to create an inventory, and from those inventory, you need to identify a list of common components so that you can create a base website, which will be treated as your you can say that the sample website which you will showcase to the client to get a sign off, and that you will clone it to onboard any of the brand website. And also if you are thinking it is a XXA out of the box component, but you need to add some sort of half day or a as per your team efficiency, you need to add some sort of effort to map the UI as well as creation of any data item in the content. It's not like that. If you are using XXA and you need to utilize a name navigation component, you will not add any number of effort to use that. Don't make it as a zero, because if you are using XXA also, you need to add a create a item, you need to match a UI. So those efforts need to take care.
So, Amit, I had one question here.
Sure.
Yeah. So on this slide, you have segregated the components, and then you have checked whether we will be using out of the box or the customer.
Yes.
So what happens if our majority of the list comes as a custom component? Then should we switch back to
No,
integrate, or
that's
we
why
can use it?
yeah, so that's why I told that this exercise needs to be done in the discovery phase itself. Okay.
Okay.
Or while you are proposing a solution, because once you are bidding for a project, right, or anything, if it is an ongoing client itself, so you will be having a time to decide or going back to the client which implementation approach you are going to utilize, right? Because you need to provide the effort or the costing to the client, correct? So in that phase itself, this identification needs to be done.
Uh, okay. So my
Okay.
next question is, if we have a multi-site environment, let's say there are four sites that we are discussing in the discovery phase, and if we see two are closely be implemented in SXA and two are on the custom thing, then what should be our approach? Should we go ahead and say we can have a mixed environment?
No, so in those scenario, suppose as I understanding your question, suppose you have implemented a two website using the XXA and the third with the custom one or any other implementation, right? That was the question, correct?
Yes. So it was
Right?
not implemented already. So we have got the requirements to develop 4 websites,
Yeah.
and then
So
we
in
are
those scenario, what you can do that because you know that in all the scenario, if you will mix and match, it will work. But if you are going via you have decided you are having more than two website as a XXA, then you can go with the XXA itself because it's better to trick your implementation with the one sort of implementation type. So generally, people is following that type of approach. So in those scenario, you can go with the XXA based approach, and whatever the component you are able to achieve with this XXA, you can go with that. But generally, I have seen many clients. So generally, those scenarios will not come into the picture because they are having a same set of application or same set of business line or their vertical. So in the initial phase itself, you can identify that which approach or which implementation will be suited, and you can go mix and match can also work, but it's better to go with the XXA because if you are building a one website in a XXA and the other website in XXA, other in a JSS or other in a ASP.NET MVC, right? So in those scenario, what will happen that whatever the custom component you have built it and they've required in the near future, you need to again do the refund, right? So there will be no reusability or the cost saving function. So the same type of client we have received earlier. So client is coming with their future roadmap. So one of the hotel industry client came to us. So they wanted a JSS based implementation, but they wanted a some sort of their business. They wanted a ASP.NET MVC website also, and they wanted a less cost also. So in those scenario, what we suggested that if you are mix and matching, then we cannot utilize a component from a one website implementation to the other. So it's better to create an experience platform and onboard all of your website there. So with that way, we can showcase the reusability to the client and we can showcase our credibility to the client.
okay. Thank you. That answers
Okay.
my question.
Oh, thanks. So earlier we have identified that we are having a three type of custom components. So I will be explaining a add as a favorites. So the purpose of this component is to add the product page as a favorites product for the logged in user, right? So here I have, from my understanding, I have identified a two type of you can say that approaches. You know that if you are onto this content delivery, you cannot your master database is not accessible, right? So in those cases, you cannot push the data to the master database, but there are the ways to push that, but it will be available to the user when the content is publishing next time. And also for each and every insert into the master database, you cannot publish the content because if you will publish very frequently, all the cache items and everything will be lost, right? And it will be performance. So you know that the XConnect in the Site9, right? And that is a different role altogether. That is available as you consider the microservices. And the X role will be accessible in the content delivery. So you can utilize a contact profile to store the custom process because in contact profile, I think everyone is aware about the Sitecore contact profile. I assume that. So there is experience analytics section is there in the admin portal and there we will provide the experience profile. Experience profile is nothing but the virtual user or you can say that the particular user you are storing into the site code and your digital marketing team can see that how each user is performing into your website. So that is a identity for that particular user. There we will be not storing any user ID and password. Generally, we will be storing a first name, last name, and the email address is a unique key to identify a user. So those things will be present, and it is also giving a department name and those things. So we can extend that contact profile and we can store the key value pair there itself. So one approach is to utilize that particular contact profile of the XConnect to store that. Other approach is a straightforward, but you can do that. You can introduce a custom database and you can write your own table schema and everything, and you can store that into your custom database, and you can utilize this custom stored procedure to bring that data to the user, or you can push that data to the user in the form of a custom search index, and you can fire a search query on that, and you can bring that data to the user. So these are the two approaches. So because if you will utilize the custom database, then your maintainability, it's easy to use, but your maintainability will increase, and because you need to manage a separate custom database, as well as you need to write lots of the codes to do that. So the preferred approach is to utilize the XConnect. So in those cases, you can utilize the full capability of the site code. So why I am explaining this during this session? Because these things matter while you are proposing any solution to the client. Because on the basis of these things only, you will be going to provide the estimation to the client. Not like that, you will put a 10 days or a 15 days effort. So these are the, you can say that the deciding point while you are doing the difference with the client, how we are going to utilize that in the near future. Because nowadays, Sitecore is giving a 45 hours of the solutioning package to the licensing part also, right? So at any given point of time, client will be doing a review of your implementation approach with the Sitecore team. So in those cases, these things will be come back to you why you have not utilized these type of things, why have you have done the custom implementation. So those are the deciding factor to show your credibility. So these things you need to consider while giving the solution to the client, and you can showcase to the client itself during your defense or any sort of meeting where you are presenting to the client. We are utilizing the full capability of the site code. And this is just a showcase of what I have explained there. So if any user is coming to your website, so they will access the product pages or any page. If user is logged in, right, then it is a current page, then disable the button of the add as a favorite. If it is not a current page, then enable the button and user can add as a favorites, and it will be storing into your page in a XConnect custom profile. So this is the data flow you can showcase to your client or a business user for their easy of understanding. Because if you will show the sequence diagram, so most of the business user will not understand. So data flow diagram is a easy approach or the flow chart to give them an overview how you are going to implement it. So the other part is the favorite product listing. So here also, so these two approaches is similar to the first one, because if you will add that, then the same repository you need to fetch it. So in the first, I will be utilizing XConnect to fetch the data, and the other approach, the custom database, I will be fetching it. So both approaches are interconnected with each other. So while implementing any solution, you need to take care also if you are able to perform a one operation and there the 10 other operation needs to be performed, how easy it will be to use that. So those analysis you need to take care. And it's a simple thing similar to that. If user access the page, if user is not logged in, then display a blank DOM element because user is not logged in. If user is logged in, then display a listing of the existing properties item. And if user will click on any of the item, and you can redirect to the details. Any question till this? Okay, thanks. So other is the purchase history. So the data will be coming from a third-party API. So generally while implementing an API, right? So as I said earlier that if there is a no plan of the API, then you can do the point-to-point integration with the Sitecore. If there is a plan to use a mobile application in the near future, any sort of other framework, then it's better to introduce a APIM layer, or you can say that the microservices, so that there will be a single source of interaction for each type of a application. So it's not like that you are integrating a point-to-point and mobile application via API. So it's better to have a single point of contact to access the data. So it is similar to the other thing. If user is not logged in, then display blank DOM element. If a user is logged in, then get a list of the purchase item and showcase to the user. So any question till the implementation approach? You can also suggest if you found any good suggestion. So because the session should be interactive.
No, no questions.
Okay. So now coming to the page structure. So page structure, this means that if you are creating XXA application, then XXA application is divided like that. Page design is a superset, partial design is a subset of that. And in that subset, we will be adding a component. That is the best practice we need to follow. Some people are directly adding a component. So if you are having a one component and that is not going to be utilized, so then you can add that into the page itself. But if you need to create a more than one pages from that particular type of template, so it's better to create a page design for that. So if you will see that the home page design, so here I have trying to depict a header partial design, carousel partial design, feature product details design, because these partial design I can utilize in any of the pages, and carousel partial also we can use in a many of other pages also wherever we require. And generally we use the local data source so that it will fetch the data from the current page context. Otherwise, if you are adding this as from the data folder, so the same content will be displayed into the other pages itself. So here I have defined the featured article details also, promo content partial also, and the footer. So all these are the reusable. So those things you need to take care while implementing any XSS solution, because and if any developer is going to implement anything, so it's better they can connect with the developer, or there's sort of some type of inventory or something will be there where they have defined like that this page is built up with these many partial design and which are can be utilized, so that the other developer who are going to start work on any type of page template, they can go and check, or they can connect with the other team member who already worked on that website. Otherwise it will be a replication of the content. So in the product listing page design, so the header partial design will be same. The page content partial design will be an image. So you have seen the every page nowadays having a some sort of banner, and on top of that there will be a page name, or the heading will be there, and the breadcrumb will be there. So those sort of things can come inside the page content partial design. And this favorite product listing and this purchase history listing with details, it can be also some sort of partial design, because if I want to utilize into any of the pages, it can be utilized. So these are also a reusable. So these reusability needs to be take care. Otherwise, we are not going to fully utilize the XXL. So now coming to the solution approach, the last point is the Sitecore information architecture. That is very important. So here I have tried to depict the information architecture. So if you have seen that I have depicted is with the project layer template, because but when you will create any website into the XXA, so all the pages which needs to be displayed into the content layer needs to be displayed into the user. Those are present into the project layer, and I am going to create or inherited my all of the pages page template with that. So that's why I have highlighted with the color of the project layer itself. So here the about us page I will be utilizing the page template. So for category I will creating the category list template because it will be sort of the container which will contain all of the categories. And for category also I have created a category template, and for the product I have created a product template. So this is the typical XXA based website items are there. So the first part is your tenant. So it's better to create a tenant always, and inside that if you are having a multiple country based website or a business group, you can create a site grouping itself, or you can directly create a site. And the media folder is a virtual folder for your media library. So here everything will be based on the project. For each and every site, there will be a media item folder separately created, and this is a data. So if you are having a any sort of component or a custom component, and if you are having a data sources for that, so it needs to be present inside the data folder. But in case of a carousel where you need to utilize the same partial design in each and every places, you can have below your particular page type itself. And the presentation item will be containing your partial design, page design, and the other items. And the settings also create all the component settings related like search settings and everything related to the sites will be present in this particular item. So now I will be explaining whatever the component we have identified as a custom or anything, for how we will be creating a template for that as per the Helix and as per the XXA. So if I am creating a generally what I will follow that if I am creating any sort of a custom component, so those component can have a heading, image, and summary. So I have created a one common data source type of thing for a base component as a template, right? And the base listing, because the listing can have a result not found text or a page size, which I am creating like a category listing if any custom component. And also I am having a my page template for a particular site, and I have added a additional fields on that like a summary, main page, listing image, because these fields are not present. So I have added a more field on that, and then I have created a category folder for that because I will be utilizing this folder to store my all of the category related details, and the other is the category feature which I am going to create it. So now coming to the category list, so you have seen that I have created that into the project layer, and the location will be the inside this, and I have inherited my page because as I said that I will be creating a category listing page template. So for that I have created a container for that. And now coming to the category, because category I am not going to display anything, it will be just name and those things. So I have created a project template or a page template in my project layer, and I have inherited my page template which is coming out of the box to create a separate category template for my project, uh, for my company website. And third one is this is the feature for the product listing. So I am going to display a dimension, button text, or additional text. So these are the some fields which I have added in this, and I will be inheriting this particular template and the project template to create a product item like as a page, so that all are my feature template, the additional fields will be coming into that. So as per my need, I can create a image gallery or some sort of other feature also, and I can inherit in my project layer for a particular page so that I can display different items. And add as a favorite is also will be my some sort of related to the product. So that's why you have seen that I have stored that into my product folder itself. So this is the button text, button tooltips, not logged in user, because add as a favorites will be a button. So I need to display that into each and every page. So these are the additional fields I will be adding into that. And in feature layer, I will be inheriting my underscore as a add a favorites, and I am giving a normal name. Generally, what I will be doing it, I will be creating a some sort of wrapper top of my feature, so that underscore the base template, I will not going to create a item directly, because if I need to add a or inherit a more fields, I can do that in my main item, for which you are going to see in my content tree. So the same way I have defined my favorite product listing, and item for that is my favorite product listing. So all will be present in my feature layer folder. So like that, I have defined my all the things. So these things why I am explaining here, because if you are having any team member who is managing all your content tree, so generally part of that particular guy is to create some sort of list or a repository where all the features or the being implemented will be containing all these details, so that if anyone needs to utilize that, they can go and check that what are the existing fields are present, and they can utilize them. So so I think that is the last thing. So with the help of that, we are able to design my this content tree, and I will be able to design my all of the template which is required to build the custom template as well as the pages. And I hope that the analysis which I have explained will be helpful for you in understanding how we generally start with any sort of implementation in the XXA. Here I have not introduced the Creative Exchange, because that is altogether a separate application. How to start with the UI part of that, it is also a big item. I have just explained how to identify which is the best implementation fit for your application, as well as how to create the inventory list for your application, so that you can define or identify that it's best fit or not, and how to create a page design or a partial design for a reusability point of basis, and how to create a template. So that's it for from my side for this session. So I am open for the questions from your side. Hello, I'm audible?
Yes, yeah. Okay, Amit. Yeah, Amit, so I had one question, Rohan here. So, it is not related to SXA, but I wanted to know, in what case we'll be going for Sitecode JSF? It's only when a single page application is the requirement.
No. So suppose generally if you will check a video from a Sitecore site itself, where they have give the comparison of the XXA and the GSS itself. So where you are having a more interactive website, right? Where you need to create a more sorts of wizard, and they looking for a, that is one of the condition. So for example, if you will see the airline website, so if you will go to the Go Indigo or a Make My Trip, right? So if you are having those site of interactive website where the response time or the UI is very interactive, where the more hits are there, right? So in those scenario, you need to go with the React.js based application, or the Vue.js or the AngularJS. The React.js performance is very good, because why people are choosing that? Because it will work on the virtual DOM, not on the basis of your particular the DOM element of your website, actual DOM. It will be work on the virtual DOM. So where the more interactive website is there, forms are there, and in those scenario, you can go with the GSS based application. And also one more condition is there: if your client is willing to propagate or push the content into a kiosk, or needs to push the content into a physical devices like a TV or anything, right? So in those scenario, you can go with the sitecode JSON. So for one of our implementation, the client's future roadmap is to push the content into a kiosk, right, and push the content into the TV itself or handheld devices. So in those scenario, it's better to go with the sitecode headless based implementation, where you can push the data to any sort of devices, and the implementation or the presentation they can take care as per their need.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you for the inputs.
Hello, Amit.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, my question is regarding page design and partial designs. So I have multiple sites which are like for different language. I have a different site like it is for a different country, right? So
Okay.
how I can go for the partial design and page designs? Should I store that in site, or do I need to create that for separate site? We need to create a separate partial design and page design.
So the same thing which I was explaining, the reusability. Suppose you have received a 10 website, so you will be able to identify that which are the page design are common and which are not, right? So in those scenario, you need to place the uh, common one into the shared site, so you can utilize that into the site which is going to utilize, and which are specific to your website, those you need to, sorry, place into a particular website.
So like you are saying like in the shared, I should create a partial design with the rendering in that shared. It's like
Yes,
selecting in
shared
the
layout.
shared layout.
Yes,
Okay.
because if you are going via that way, because if you are creating the page design, right, you need to add a partial design itself, right? And you are not going to add a partial design as a blank partial design, right? Then there is no use of reusability, correct? So in those scenarios, you
Yes.
need to add a component there, because see, the page design is nothing but a, you can say that the copy, or you can say the Xerox of your actual page, right? Normal ASP.NET MVC language.
Mhm.
So in those
Mhm.
cases, everything which is required to build a page needs to be present in the page design. So with that concept, you need to add into the shared design itself, shared site, which are
Mhm.
the common.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Amit.
Amit, I have a extension question for that. I have a scenario for multi-tenant site where the existing tenant already have a shared site where we have the presentation, everything is defined. So all the sites within the tenant is being shared. But I'm getting a new tenant. For that tenant also, I need to make use of the same presentation. So, and second question related to that, the second tenant sites will have their own theme. I mean, the first tenant will share the same theme, but the second tenant will have its own themes. But except that, presentation, renderings, everything will be common for both the tenants. So, any inputs on that?
So first of all, I have not seen or not worked on where we are sharing the multi-tenant is sharing the same type of, because tenant itself is a concept, right? Generic, if you will see, you can have a tenant, and that tenant cannot interfere with the other tenant, similar to your PaaS environment, right? If you are an Azure VM, if you are buying anything into a, you are buying a space into a apartment, right? And your accessibility is between that area itself, right? So the same concept is happening in the this particular Helix based implementation also in the XXA. there also they have created a boundary for each and every website. So lower part is the site, top of that is the site setting, and above that is a tenant and the tenant folder. So what you can, I have not tried it, but I can give you some guidance. There is an option for the tenant folder, right? So you need to check that if you will create a site, a tenant inside a tenant folder, and then you are able to do that or not. Because I have not tried it. But as per my understanding, it is not going to work because
No, it's
they have
not. You are correct. It's not working because
yeah,
the tenant level it's not only
yeah,
among the tenant sites only we can share,
yes,
but not at the
yeah.
other.
That's it's the same concept they have introduced here, right? Tenant means that you have bought some space in a building, and your accessibility or your boundaries around that only. You cannot go and share your thing outside of the your boundary. So that's why they have restricted to the tenant. But I am not sure if you will create a tenant folder, you are able to do that. But as per my understanding, it will also not going to work. And to
Okay.
your other question, the theme, if you are having a shared site, let's say example of the shared site, and you have defined some theme here, you can also define a theme at the page level itself. But that things I have tested it. Suppose if you are having a one page with another A theme and in the B you need to define a different theme within the same site, that I have done it. But across the tenant which you are telling, that I have not tried it. But for a different page, I have used a different theme and it was working.
Cool. Thanks, man.